Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There are 101 ways to make money online. Now, most of them are fake, just promoted by gurus trying to sell you their courses, which is why in today's video, I'm sharing 7 online halal side hustles that you can start today to make $100 a day. And I'll show you step by step, going from the easiest one to the one that can make you the most money. And to prove you that this works, I'll even share screenshots of proof of payments of me paying those people to do those side hustles for me. And trust me, they make a lot of money. Allahumma barik. Let's get into it. Starting with the first one, copywriting. Copywriting is simple. Copywriting is basically writing in a way that makes people buy the stuff that you're writing about. That's it. You can write emails, ads, script videos, any type of thing that involves some sort of writing falls under copywriting. And here's a twist. We're in 2025. We've got AI. So we're not going to write the emails, the ads, the scripts ourselves. We'll use AI to do so. And to show you, I'll switch over to my laptop. So what you want to be doing is logging into Claude.ai, and it's amazing for writing. I'll show you specifically how to tweak it in a way that makes it write like crazy. What you need to do is head over to this little cross and create a new project. I'll call it Ebu Copywriter, and I want you to write emails in an amazing way to convert readers into customers. Create project. For now, let's try it out. I have a $20 ebook teaching people how to use Excel sheets and be very good with it. Also, very important to precise that I don't want it to write like AI, otherwise going to mess everything up. Don't write like AI. Use English below level 4. And because Claude is my guy, I'm gonna say Jazakallah khair. I trained the AI live. It took me literally 3 minutes and it's printing an email off of 2 lines of context. Now this was good, but it's just one email. So how do we actually make money from it? You have 3 ways of doing it. Number 1 is selling packages. Basically, because you're not writing the email, you don't really care about how many emails you have to write. So what you want to do is be competitive on pricing and send them bulk offers. 5 emails for $100, 10 emails for $100. That's $10 an email. But if it takes you 2 hours to write those 10 emails, you basically made $50 an hour as a side hustle from an AI that you trained in 5 minutes. This is insane. Now, emails was just a start. You can actually use the same AI with a few tweaks to write a lot more than emails. For example, you can write scripts. You can write YouTube scripts or short form scripts. You can feed the AI some Mr. Beast videos and say how amazing he is at retention and all the tactics that he's using in his script. And you can ask it to replicate those for a specific guy. Send him 10 video ideas and charge him $100. Same thing. It's going to take you 2 to 5 hours and you made $100 in a single day. Now, if scripts are not your thing, you can do other things like ads. You can script Facebook ads, Google ads for people. Same thing. Look at great people who are doing it, feed it to the AI, give it the logic and replicate it for other people. You can make PDFs or guides for those people. Lastly, a thing that I myself use is websites. My websites, my funnels have copywriting all the way. The titles, the headlines, the subheadlines, how the customers are gonna think, how the customer experience is going to be. If we use this sentence instead of this one, same thing. And lastly, once you close a few clients, you might wanna turn this into a remote job. For example, when I hire copywriters, I start by making them write 1 to 2 simple emails. If they're good, I make them write a 5 to 10 email sequence. And if they're really good, I'd offer them a full-time job at my company. Now, to give you some actual numbers, an email on average, generally speaking, costs between $20 and $100. Now, if you're writing it with AI, you can compete so much on volume. And if you offer 10 emails for $150 and they are really good, I guarantee you, you'll close clients. Now, in position number 2, we have a side hustle that can make you a lot of money depending on how available you are. And that is high ticket sales. High ticket sales is basically you taking sales calls over the phone to sell people a certain solution. Usually, you get paid about 10% of whatever you sell. You earn what you kill. The products are on average $1,500 to $10,000 and the average close rate is 20%. So let's say you're taking 5 calls per day to guarantee that you make at least 1 sale every single day. There are 1-hour calls, so that will take you 5 hours and you're guaranteed to make between $150 and $1,000. And mainly there are 3 requirements that you must have if you want to really succeed in high ticket sales. Specifically for these numbers that I gave you, they are for the US market. Don't worry, you can do high ticket sales anywhere in the world, but you would be selling to USA prospect, American guys. Now for those 3 requirements, number 1 is being native English or really good at English to the point where we can't notice it. Because you'll be speaking to native English customers, they won't really like if you have a very thick accent. Number 2, you need to be charismatic. I'm sorry, sales is a game of energy. If you're not slick, if you can't speak to people in a great way and you can, crack some jokes and then get them back in the sale, high ticket sales is maybe not for you. And lastly, you need to be super resilient. Sales is a numbers game. You need to be dialing the phone all day speaking to people all the time. And if you're not ready to have people saying, no, I don't want to buy your thing, I hate you, don't call me back, and then you pick up the phone again and you call someone else and you're super happy and excited, then high ticket sales again might not be for you. Now, if you have those requirements, you're gonna make a lot of money with high ticket sales. Now, if you heard everything I mentioned about high ticket sales, you were hyped, but then you heard the requirements and you're like, I don't have it, there's no way. Habibi, don't worry, I got you. You can do appointment setting. Appointment setting is basically high ticket sales that pays a little bit less, but you don't need none of the requirements because you can do what's called DM setting. Basically, you see those people that speak on the phone all day and sell to those people, they are speaking to them because they have appointments, because basically people agreed to speak with them over the phone. And who set those appointments? Appointment setters. So your job would be converting leads, people who are interested in a product, to people who are speaking over the phone with your closers. And your job with appointment setting is just to set those leads that are interested in the solution into appointments. And to do so, you want to do 3 simple things. And it starts with the qualification part. You don't want to waste your closers' time because their time is very valuable and they want to take as many calls as possible. And since they only eat what they kill, they get paid a percentage, then you must send them qualified people. Otherwise, they're gonna hate you. The second thing you want to do as an appointment setter while you're talking to the prospect is setting the expectations. It's basically preparing the sale for the guy, making it easier for your sales guy. You're basically telling them, hey, this is the solution, here's how amazing it's going to be. You prepare the ground, make it easy for them, make sure they can afford it, they also understand it makes sense, everything's good, everything's ready. You set the expectation on this call, you're going to buy our product. And lastly, if they are qualified, they have the right expectation, they're ready to move forward, then set the call. You're simply going to send them a calendar link for them to book a call at a time that works for them so that they can speak to a closer and buy the product. If they end up buying the product, you'll make 5% of the sale on average, which with the same numbers that we had before, you can make from $75 to $500 per sale. For sellers, I have some appointment sellers on my team booking 11, 15, up to 20 calls per day. Imagine how much you can make if you make $75, which is the low end, $75 per call, and you book 20 calls. Let's say half of them end up closing. That's $750 for one single day of work. I'm telling you, the side hustles are real. Do your research, but I'm telling you, appointment setting is the real game. I personally have appointment setters that work for me, and last month I paid my top appointment setter $6,000 cash. Allahumma barik. Now, enough talk about selling stuff and taking people's money, and maybe you're more of a calm, chill guy that just has a bit of creativity, then video editing might be for you. Video editing is a bit harder to learn when you're a beginner. It takes some time. The AI tools so far are not really good for video editing, so you might need to learn the skill by yourself. I advise you to learn very specific styles of video editing that are in demand. And there are a few that I can name. Now, most editors say that the market is saturated, but realistically, no market is saturated. They're just saturated offers. And to name a few, for example, everyone is copying the Iman Gadzi style with fancy animations and a bunch of effects. And that's why you think video editing is saturated, because you're just doing what everyone else is doing. Now, on the other hand, if you become really good at, for example, editing vlogs, of course, make sure you don't use music, but you can find a great way to put the clips in a nice order, make it feel cinematic, etc. You're gonna make a bunch of money. To give you an idea, a vlog costs between $200 and $500 to edit, and you can edit a vlog in 2 to 5 days. So again, making $100 a day. Now, if you don't really like vlogs and you're more of a chill guy, you like to learn things as well as your work, you might want to do documentaries, which is basically educational content. This video that you're watching right now could fall under the category of documentary content. It doesn't have any music. You don't have to make excuses and say, oh, my clients have music, this and that. You can just find the right clients by either them being Muslim and not using music, or you can find people who just don't need music by default. And lastly, with video editing, you can do short form editing, specifically repurposing, which is basically you taking long form YouTube videos from creators and editing them for them to post them on their social media, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. Now, for short form repurposing, there are so many people that are doing it already, but this market has so much money to be made, and I'll show you how. First, be really good at it, and specifically at retention on shorts, because short form is going to be on short form platforms and people have a fried brain. So if you're not really good at making retention edits, then you shouldn't do short form. Now, how you can learn short form retention is by watching on YouTube again, plenty of tutorials. There are people who are expert at retention and you can learn how that works. Now, once that you know how retention works, you can go to YouTubers and offer to repurpose their content on other platforms. Also, if you want to go further and really make an offer that's really good, you can ask the clients to add you to their YouTube studio. Basically, this will allow you to check the retention chart of the initial video, and you can see the spikes and where people specifically put a like, or where people specifically watch a lot of the video or put a comment on it, or you can go to the comment section and see when people, when they put the timestamps and they say, oh, 4 minute 55, amazing advice. Then you take this clip at 4 minute 55, you edit it in a nice way where people can get the whole context and repurpose that on other social media. That would be an amazing offer, and I can tell you no one is doing this. Now the fifth side hustle is creating websites for people. Similarly, we're in 2025, you can use AI to create the websites. You don't need to code, you don't need to do none of that. What you want to do is make a special offer. Always with Abu Lahab we're special. So what you want to be doing is you listing the top 10, top 20 websites in a specific industry, and then you analyze everything, you put all your research in a Google Doc, and then you can go to other people in this industry who have a very bad website and offer to either give them this doc and they pay you for it, which is most likely not the case. People are going to be lazy. They want you to do everything. So you can offer to go and do the website for them. Now, specifically to make the website, you have two main ways. Number one is finding someone on a freelancing website like Upwork, for example. You can pay them 50 to 100 bucks for them to make the website. Of course, once you find a client. And the good thing about this is that you'll be guaranteed a good quality, because you'll be getting someone that's full-time job is to make websites. So he'll be really good at making websites. And also you don't need experience in design or any of that, because he'll be handling everything. You just need to make the sales and broker the deals. Now, the second option you have is making the website yourself using AI. This one is great because there's low upfront cost. You don't really have to pay for anything else than the software that you're building the website on. You can play the volume game and have a bunch of websites made very quickly and fulfill a lot of clients and have cheaper prices. And you also will have fast delivery. Personally, if I start, I might find someone else to do the website until I understand really well how everything works. I get a reputation built by having great websites. I can sell the websites for 300 or 400 bucks. I'm not going to charge a lot of money for this. I'll make sure the websites are well designed, etc. And then later on, I can learn how to make the websites myself if I want to save a little bit of money, or I can learn to scale this specifically and start a web design agency where I'll hire multiple people to build websites for me, and that turns it into a full-time business. All in all, if you sell a website for 300 bucks and you can sell 5 of them every month, you make 1,500 bucks for little side hustles where you're not even doing the work. That's pretty good. Side hustle number 6 is building automations for businesses. Big companies that have hundreds of employees and hundreds of customers cannot manage everything that they do manually. They need automations for things to be done automatically. For example, an email to be sent when a new customer comes in, a notification to be received when a customer has a specific request and needs a specific help. All these little automations will save them time and eventually save them money. Zapier is a huge software for automations. It basically interconnects a bunch of softwares like Google Sheets, Slack, Discord, emails, all these kind of softwares, and you can create what's called zaps. A zap is basically a list of actions that's going to be happening once something triggers them. For example, if you receive an email, then send this message to one of the employees and also start this other sequence on the side. This can be very time consuming if someone is doing it manually, so it can be automated with Zapier. And your job as an automation builder is to find time-consuming tasks and automate them with Zapier. For example, remember what we spoke about appointment setting, when you want to set the expectation, make sure people are coming on board, knowing what they need to buy, etc., starting the sale before you come in. Those things can be automated to a certain degree. There are plenty of tutorials on Zapier. There are other softwares like make.com that can also help you make those automations. What you want to do here is play the long-term game. You want to be really good at automations, start small with $50, $100 automations, and work your way up until you can build really big stack of automations and charge a lot for it. Now for the final and last side hustle, I kept the best for the end. It is influencer marketing. It's the one that, alhamdulillah, I personally used myself and I made most of my money from when I was a beginner. Now influencer marketing is simple. You basically want to help influencers get brand deals and you take a commission on the deal. That's it. Now disclaimer, you don't want to work with any haram influencer. So anyone that uses music, anyone that has like fitness and shows his aura, or some finance that has riba, it's a clear no-go. Now the next thing, once you found a few influencers that you can work with, you want to make sure they have the right amount of followers so that you can actually make money. Because if they're not big enough for companies to pay them, you're not going to make any money. So you want to find people between 200K and 500K followers. It's very important because if the influencer is too small, companies most of the time won't really want to pay him. Now, on average, the commission you can start taking when you're a beginner are between 15 and 20%. You don't want to get greedy. You just want to start making a little bit of money. Now, if you agree with the influencer that any deal you bring his way, he'll pay you a cut of it, 15, 20%, then you can start reaching out to companies, showing them exactly why this influencer is amazing, how amazing he is, and how he can gain them a bunch more sales. Once they accept, broker the deal, sign a contract between the influencer and you, and sign another contract between the brand and you. Make sure they never get in touch, otherwise they'll just cut you off the deal. And if you don't know how to create a contract, you can simply use a software like DocuSign, PandaDoc, and create an online contract between you and him. You can ask ChatGPT about the legislations in your country to make sure you're respecting all the rules. Ask it also to write up the contract, get both people to sign it, and then you can go ahead with the deal. Once the deal is done, you can get paid. When you're starting out, you can expect to make $1,000, $2,000 a month working, about 20 hours a week on the model, and you can also scale it. If you have bigger influencers, you can charge bigger commissions, etc., etc. I actually have data to show you how you can make, because I ran this model myself and I coached a few guys on how to do this as well. Now you can see this brother, Allah Mabarak, closed the deal for 12K, made about 3K profit, Allah Mabarak, which is about 25% of the deal, and that is just through one deal. Now you have big people who close way bigger deals, etc. But when you start out, usually you're going to close smaller deals like $1,200 on $400 profit, 3K deal with 1K profit, $1,200 with $800 profit. But these are very small deals with very, very small influencers. Of course, later on, you can close some bigger deals, have some madness. You can have some people that are making up to 100K a month, etc. That's way later down the line, once you have established your agency properly, etc. If you want to start, simply be an influencer agent, find one or two influencers that you actually want to work with, help them find the right brands, and they'll help you make money as well. So now that I showed you these 7 halal side hustles, you might ask me, but how am I going to close clients? Well, Habibi, watch this next video. I break down everything. Assalamu alaikum.